Hi, Doug Wrench here, and today we're going to be looking at Riddell helmets from the 50s and 60s and how we can identify them if you like to collect them and you want to tell the differences between them. This is a quick little look at some of the helmets, not all of them. The first one we have is a traditional TK2 rolling suspension helmet. Now, this helmet was made in various designs up through the years. Maybe there were 5 or 6 different designs. Some of them had slight little ear areas that bulged out. Some didn't have that. This is a smooth helmet design. Some of them had different numbers of holes in the top. But that's all. But they're all pretty much the same other than that. And this helmet here, which if you're collecting them, you may not be this lucky. Let me get inside here to show you, but you can see the size on the back of it there, but it also has the actual logo. It's a TK2 True Curve helmet. So that's easy to identify this one and what exactly it was. But the overall design, if you look at it, it's a true suspension helmet. So it's got this web suspension throughout. Around it's got the traditional ear pads or cheek pads that are leather. It's got the snubber in the front, which is a rubber snubber. Later ones would have a larger pad in the front, which we'll show you on one of the other helmets we have. But 90% of your NFL teams or NFL players wore these helmets. Notable exceptions, the Chicago Bears wore Wilson helmets because George Halas was good friends with the Wilson factory or whoever owned the Wilson factory. And some other teams like St. Louis and San Francisco wore the Rawlings. But it's unusual. Like I said, most of them wore the Craylite helmets, and this is a Riddell Craylite helmet. Now, as times moved on, although a lot of players preferred the suspension helmet, Riddell started to look at other technologies. And here's a helmet here that's kind of like an in-between helmet. This is a TAC 29. And as we take a look at this, you'll see that inside it has a suspension of the helmet we just looked at with the water and air cells in the back. So if we turn it over, and there we can see identical webbing structure to the helmet we just looked at, the TK2. It doesn't have the rubber bumper pad in the front, but that's just missing. That's the only reason that's not there. And it's kind of nice to display them because that won't hang down. If you have those in there, it kind of hangs the webbing down a little bit. So I have that. I haven't put a new one in there yet. But same ear pads. But then in the back here, you can see there's an air-filled reservoirs in here that, and some of them had like a antifreeze solution, so it wouldn't freeze in cold weather conditions. And they would actually put this on a player's head and pump it up through an airport. So you went in the back here and give them a really custom fit. So that was kind of an in-between model of TK or TAC 29. But then they moved along, and this is about 1970. You look at the total air-water helmet. In this case, this is the HA91. As you can see, we've got the larger padding on the front here. This one has a traditional Riddell BD9 cage on it, or face mask. But then we look inside, you can see that you got the exact same water air padding in the back, the same kind of thing. But then we also have it throughout the helmet. And if you look around, you can see how that's done. And then you can see that now we've got more ports to blow this up. So we have more, air that we can make a total custom fit, kind of like pump sneakers are in today's, or pump skates or whatever. Another thing to look at Riddell's is you can see that 2 of these this one's white with a gray interior, and then this one over here also has the gray interior with a white shell on it. But many of them, many times when the helmets were either shell colored or painted from the factory. When they were painted, they were usually gray inside. When they were shell color, then they had probably the gray primer left inside because they wouldn't paint it inside. This particular one is the shell color. I don't know why it's gray inside. Maybe they just painted a bunch of them that year, primed them all inside. This one has a painted exterior, so that one is a true painted helmet. Here's one is the shell color inside and out. So you're going to see either when you buy helmets. That's kind of a personal preference from teams when they actually bought them. So that's kind of a quick overview looking at Riddell helmets. Just a small area, 50s, 60s, and you can get an idea of what the players are wearing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.